Yeah. So I did my part.
You did your part?
Yeah, I'm over that now.
I've done my part too. I've canceled 2 vacations. Because we'd have to quarantine. And not so much for me, because I can do a lot from home, but my wife can't. And they make her at the title company, and she needs to be at the office. She hasn't been off at all during all this. She's been in the office since day one. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live. Correct, Matt? We're live?
Can't hear her, but
That's even better.
Because we were gonna go out of state. We were gonna go for our anniversary and Marcus's 21st in Vegas.
And that, we have no sound down here. Are we live?
You got our phone number, right? So why are we doing this again?
I had to unmute myself. Sorry. Yes, you're live.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now Lex left the room.
do we need it?
She's the one that keeps moving.
I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself. You're good. I had to unmute myself. Sorry. Yes, you're live.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now Lex.
I hope this is recorded. I'd like to watch it later.
Have a hard time sleeping?
I had to unmute myself. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. 1:35, October 27, I call the meeting to order. It's the Berrien County Remonumentation Peer Group meeting. I think everyone has a set of the minutes in front of them.
I'll make a motion to approve as printed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Any old business? No old business, we'll go on to new business. I believe, any new business besides corner presentations? Not? I think there are 4 of you, whoever wants to go first.
Mine are easy.
All right, let's do the easy one.
Sold. Hey, John. John,
Mine are second
any
easy.
public comments?
Take one.
Oh, yeah, usually there's, if somebody wanted to be involved or, of the public, I guess make it open for public comments. They would have to ask, to make the comments within our meeting. I don't know how that's done with this, but, usually we open it up to whoever's here. So, seeing no one here, make the announcement, just let us know somehow. Hearing none, we'll proceed.
These yours, Brian?
One less person touching all of them, I would suspect.
Just know who I'm looking at.
Yeah, these are my corners, Bubba's. You can't say some things we're on TV. You're my helper.
Hey, just trying to reduce the amount of people touching.
So as you're just opening up your packet and getting familiar with it, the reason I said these were pretty easy is that I had a history of stones on all of them. And we found 4 out of the 6 stones. And the ones that we didn't find stones, there was irons. There was no evidence that there was anything suspicious with the corner. The 2 locations where we didn't find stones were intersections where I think they had been excavated and kind of redone, regraded. We searched for stones pretty good in those two areas, but we didn't find any. But we found irons in evidence. There was no evidence to contradict where the box was or where the existing evidence was found at. So I know we've got quite a few corners to go through and maybe some that are a little more complicated. So if you want me to stop somewhere or explain anything, please let me know if you need a further explanation, but I'll kind of roll through them pretty quick. The first one we'll start with was K5. We did some research. The original corner history is on the front with the original post, and then whatever information that we had, we've got shown in that corner history. That one called for a stone from some of Dewey's notes. That one we did not find a stone. That is a T intersection, no road going east from there. We did find an old witness that I think was from the 18-inch walnut from Dewey that's no longer there. There was evidence of a stump there. We taped down to where there was an old stump. I don't know if it was a walnut, but an 18-inch walnut. Then there was a pretty big stump there at that location. It was about 108 feet away. So hard to say if that stone was at the 108.0 or what when you go into the center of an old rotted stump. But that corner there, we did find an iron pipe in the Mon box. We removed the pipe and the Mon box. We excavated down, we probed down in the hole. We didn't find anything else there. We accepted the iron pipe in the Mon box as the best available evidence in the corner. We set a standard pipe and cap at that corner. K5, there was some history from the oldest history we had besides the original post being set by Brookfield was a stone by Dewey in the 40s. That corner, there was a Mon box there. We found a rebar in a Mon box. We removed the rebar and the Mon box. Started digging down. We found an iron pipe, 9/100 west and 3/10 north. 1.3 feet below the rebar. We removed that pipe. We continued to dig down. We probed. We hit something with the probe. We dug down far enough to excavate to get to the top of a significant stone there. The stone was 3/400 east of where we found the pipe. The stone was deep enough that we couldn't really remove it, so we left the stone in place. We cut just a little bit off of the pipe, and so we set a 32-inch pipe with a cap at the location of that stone, and we held that stone as the best available evidence of the position of the corner.
That was K6, correct?
That was K6, correct, John. K7, this is a four-way intersection there. Gravel road, east-west, paved road, north-south. That one also had 1940 information, 40s information of a stone. We looked pretty good there. We found an iron in a Mon box. We removed the Mon box there, excavated and probed additional 3 feet or as long as we could get down in the probe. Didn't find any other evidence, no other irons, nothing there, just that iron in a Mon box. That area did have some excavation. It was a little lower. They had, not recently, but I'm sure years ago, had done some work in improving that intersection. So it doesn't surprise me that that one's gone. So there we set our standard 36-inch pipe with the brass Remon cap at the position of the found iron that we had and called that the best available evidence of the position of the original corner. K8 is pretty much in the center line of the road. There was occupation going east and going west out of there, rough occupation. There was 2 T-rail or old rail posts there on either side that we used for witness. But there in the history, you'll see that other than the original post set by Brookfield, Dewey again referenced to stone. He had done some work in this section. So here we found a plug that was referenced in the Mon box. We started some excavation. We removed the plug and the Mon box. We found a pipe that was down there. About a foot south and about 3/10 west of the plug. We removed that pipe. We kept excavating, digging down, went down about another foot, and we found a stone about a 10th, roughly a 10th north and a 10th west of where the pipe was. That stone was big enough and deep enough that we didn't remove that. We cut off part of the pipe. We set a 20-inch pipe with the Remon cap at the position of the stone. Called that the best available evidence of the position of the corner. K9, same thing, originally set by Brookfield. There was a little earlier evidence of a stone there in 1900s, and then Dewey had the found stone again in the 40s. So at that corner, now they were calling for an MDOT plate in the Mon box. So we started digging there. We found the MDOT plate in the Mon box. We removed the MDOT plate and the Mon box. We started digging down a little bit. Immediately ran into this stone. The stone was a giant stone. Did not have a backhoe. We dug a pretty big hole. The stone wasn't deep enough so that I thought we could get a significant pipe over the top of it, so we excavated quite a bit around that. We were able to excavate enough to move the stone a little bit so that we could get a pipe at the position of where the stone was. So the stone's still in the box. I wanted to make a note of that, so if somebody were to dig it out or find the stone and they say, oh, there's the corner, why is the pipe not there? This stone was like 400 or 500 pounds probably, and so we were able to use a pry bar. The kind of the point of the stone, most of the stone was southwesterly. It was pretty flat going down this way and came up to a point. So we eased the stone over a little bit. I could get a pipe in at the top of where that stone was. So I put the pipe in the cap, used a regular 36-inch pipe, put the pipe in the cap at the position of where the top of that stone was, or the best I could tell where the top of that position of that stone was, and used that, set that pipe where the stone was, and called that the best available evidence at the corner.
Well, it makes me wonder how the original surveyors got that stone there.
I don't know. I was out there with a couple of my younger guys, and I admire their diligence, because they're like, oh, we want to get that stone out of there. Oh, we've been working on it long enough. I'm like, guys, you're gonna learn. Like, if you want to come out on the weekend and work on that stone for personal satisfaction, great. But let's just use that pry bar and ease it over a little bit, and we'll be smart about this. So then the last one, L9, again, we had the information from when it was originally set. Dewey had found a stone back in the 40s. Since then, there had been an MDOT plate there. That MDOT plate was still there. We removed the plate in the Mon box. We dug down a little bit and we found a stone 2 feet below where that MDOT plate was. Again, it was a pretty significant stone, but that was deep enough that I felt the iron would stay in place. So we pretty much cut that in half. We set an 18-inch pipe with the Remon cap on it at the point of that stone. Called that the best available evidence of the position of the corner. So we were fortunate that we had some old notes, at least going back to the 40s. The one going back further that called for stones, I thought it was pretty great that we were able to find 4 out of the 6 stones now. So the other distances and evidence that we had where we didn't find the stones seemed to be consistent with the distances that we measured and have been referenced in old surveys and people's notes and things. So my recommendation is that we hold these and use the information that we found in the field, including the stones, as the best available evidence for the position of these corners.
Any evidence or occupation otherwise?
Not to contradict what we found, no. Everything was consistent with what we found.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Who wants to go next?
You want to go ahead, or you want me to?
Oh, you can go ahead. You do the honors for me, right? Here you go. Here's some more. I'll go this way.
I do, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Got enough? You need one, Brian? Not that you can vote, but.
All right, I don't think I have any that are
controversial. I had 3 centers to kind of, what I've been doing is just kind of finishing off sections in Chickaming Township that Wally started and just kind of building off of what I've done for the last 5 years. You can just note, just like on Brian's, north is to the left. So you should have, we can just start. I got my own notes, I do a little different than Brian, but H6 had some evidence of a stone there. 1891 found iron and stone, and then Dewey found stone, set iron on east edge, and then the history there. Just trying to, is that Youngren? Oh yeah, this was one of those that the county had come through and put 7 inches of gravel. We got a lot of draws with a locator in surrounding trees. You know, there's a lot of old trees there, and I wasn't gonna chip out all these old PKs that I was getting witnesses to, but I have a tendency with all my asterisks, it wasn't something that I necessarily found the actual PK, but I was getting a draw that was real close to that position. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna chip up 40-inch oaks in somebody's front yard to do this. What we found there was a capped iron 20710, which was part of the history there. We excavated down an additional 4.5 feet, dug a pretty big hole, got to a sand layer. There was no evidence of any additional corner. We probed around. I get a little frustrated when they call for stones and there's nothing there, but there's solid occupation north and south. Distances are consistent to other section corners. So there wasn't anything of significance with that one. So that was not set by the original surveyors. So I'm just accept this as the best available to this position of the corner.
Doug Pierce.
That's Pierce.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we found some irons that were associated with that on these witnesses, and everything seemed to check pretty good. And that's Youngren's kind of one of those roads that's been there forever. Everybody's been using that corner. So that's that.
How about the comment here? It says,
Sure.
Concrete monument north 33 feet.
Concrete monument.
1975 unknown.
Yeah, I didn't find that. I looked real hard for that, but there was nothing there.
I don't know that would change your position anyways, that one's been used forever and ever, and actually, where you put it back in, it was out, and I was doing a survey like right in there.
Oh, was that you that came and did that
I was
survey?
gonna reset it, and I didn't realize it was a remind corner, and like, we went back to stake it, and you had put it in, so.
Yeah.
Put it right in the spot I was gonna set it.
Yeah, there is a silver bullet north though, 33 feet. And we witnessed that and pulled that bullet out, and I wanted more, and then we dug a bigger hole, and I thought maybe that area was not like dug out or added to. It looked like it was pretty natural ground, so I was pretty diligent in looking for that. Because when it said conch mon, I wasn't, did somebody just make a homemade conch mon, or was it, but there was no concrete around that bullet, so. And I just set that bullet back where it was at, so, yeah. So you're not the first person to ask these questions to me. Dan Zwar really tore me up the first year on this, so I kind of go about my business a little different now. So, let's go to, what's the next one on my list here? Sorry, guys. We can do H8, that's another center. That's in East Road.
Do you have the relation into the intersection of the quarter lines?
It should be on my sketch.
Okay.
On my sketch, H6, did he not put it? Yeah, he did. H6 is it's 7/10 north and 4500 east of the intersection of quarter lines. You see it there, John, on my notes? No?
Oh, on top, okay,
Right here.
okay, got it.
There's my three.
Okay, thank you.
One is, the two are really good, the other one is not, but we'll get to that one.
Okay.
So I'll go H8, another center, it's center of section 22. Found a plug in the road, had some old notes of another plug at the 8th corner, which we also found and tied in, and that checked really, really good to our old distances to that. It was about 6 inches or so below, it was more like 10 inches. I got 8/10 here below the road surface. And we excavated that up. We really thought that was gonna be a nice, easy one to pull out, excavate, and slap a box in, but that's one of those areas where they have all those macadam rocks. So it took us a little bit more effort to excavate a pretty decent sized hole there. We excavated down to a really hard, dark clay area. We probed the best we could, and we ended up just getting that plug out of there and setting a 36-inch pipe with my cap on it, the Berrien County cap with the stamp on it. Witness ties seem to match pretty good. Wally used the plug in 07, John had used the plug in 95. 77, Taylor found a plug. I'm not sure why someone would say that it was a 1-inch iron pipe in the Mon box, but they didn't dig it up really well. They might have thought it was a bar or something. But that one, occupation hit really good, north and south. Was in the middle of the road, so that one I'm just gonna say it wasn't set by the original surveyor, so we'll just accept it as the best available evidence of the position of the corner. Okay, then let's go to my last center. This one I did not have a whole lot of history on. A lot of people haven't been here. This, for reference, for those you guys know where River Valley Public Schools are at. We talked to the facility guy there. I know him pretty good, and he let us drive back around the baseball field to get back there, and it just so happens their cross-country trail is cut wide enough that we could drive our truck down in there, and we got to about within 400 feet of the corner. Fired up our GPS just to kind of get us close, because Brian had done a survey where we had tied it in to get us back to it. We ended up obviously traversing in and tying it in. It called for an old stone, 1885. As you can see on my sheet, it's the corner I found is 10.42 feet north and 9.83 feet west of the intersection of the quarter lines. That concerned me. I was excited that there was supposed to be a stone there. We found a 1-inch iron pipe. We started probing around that pipe, and we weren't hitting anything, so I told Zach, we'll just stick the probe down the middle of the pipe and see if you'd tink anything. Well, he did. So we got all excited. Okay, there's a stone underneath there. So as it turns out, though, it was a 36-inch or 42-inch long pipe that was pinched on the other end. So we were tinking the other end of the pinched pipe. We excavated and probed in 2 other locations, specifically at the intersection of quarter lines. We dug a big area out. It was all natural back there. It's all woods. And we were not coming up with anything. In removing that pipe, we had to, when we started digging up, we kept hitting wire. There was wire fence going north and south and east and west off of that pipe, or not west, east off of that pipe. So that was some significance that there was fencing coming to that. So while Zach was traversing in, I was walking up the lines and I found a bunch of old barbed wire fence going through the middle of big 36, 24-inch trees going east and going to the north. Flagged them all up, we got traversed in, tied all those in, and when it came down to it, when I ran intersections from the section corners to that pipe, that barbed wire was within a foot of the section line of where we were gonna hold that. So knowing that there wasn't a whole lot of evidence and that we weren't real close to the intersection of quarter line, we pulled that out and we set a standard 36-inch concrete monument with a Carsonite marker, put 4 witness tags in out there, and got a good coordinate on it. So that wasn't established by the original surveyors, but I want to accept that as the best available evidence at the corner. Okay, let's see, G7. That is on Prairie Road. And there's that service road that goes along I-94 there. You just come south. This is one of those that I tried to tie in a couple years ago and we couldn't find it. We'd buzz it, couldn't find it. It was one of those corners where the road commission had come through, pulverized, done it. Lions set a post in 1826. They found a stake and set stone in 1891 from Bacon Field notes that we had. Dewey found a stone. Garrett found a 1-inch iron pipe, and then from there on, 1-inch pipe, 3/4-inch pipe, 1.5-inch pipe, all the way through. So I had a decent coordinate to look, because there was, we found the iron rods east and west of that location. We started excavating and we got down about 1.2 feet below the road surface and we found a 1-inch iron pipe. We finally got down digging through the road to get a draw. Pulled the pipe and started excavating a little bit more, and that pipe was only 12 inches long. So I pulled the pipe and Zach and I just started excavating. Luckily, Prairie Road's not very busy right there, so we had a pretty decent sized hole. Surface found a pointed stone right underneath where that the top of the stone was about 2.6 feet below the surface. I did not try to remove that stone. It went down at a pretty good clip out of there, so we cut a little bit of the pipe off and set a 29-inch long 1-inch iron pipe over the location of the stone, which was within 1/10 of the location of where the top of the pipe was. So I want to hold that as I gotta find the wording, guys. I don't go through it enough to, I don't want to screw up the wording for the minutes or YouTube. Right? Let's see, this monument, I want to accept this monument as the best available evidence of position of the original plan. So that was a nice one, found a stone there, that was kind of fun. G11. Tom, this is one last year when I had done the one to the east, we were a little concerned that maybe we weren't real sure about that location because some of our measurements, and G11 had some evidence, some old evidence of a stone in the witnesses. Drew set a stone in 1885. Dewey found a stone in 1940. We had gone through and we found a 26469 cap in a Mon box, which is Mr. Strebs' number there. With the evidence of the stone, we removed the rebar. We started excavating down and we got down about 2.5 feet and we found a pointed stone within 2/10 of the rebar where the top of the rebar was set. And it